All right. Well, Vaughn came over here just a minute ago and asked if he could go through the serving line again. I was like, Vaughn, it's not all about you, man. It's not all about you. Once again, thanks everyone for coming tonight. Many of us in this room are current or former athletes or coaches, and I'm sure that we all have a favorite inspirational sports movie, whether it's Remember the Titans or Rocky or Rudy or Hoosiers. In high school, I ran track and cross country, but my passion was wrestling. And I'm talking about professional wrestling. As in Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, the Road Warriors are the greatest of all time, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! The closest analogy in school to professional wrestling is, of course, amateur wrestling. And consequently, my absolute favorite movie as a high schooler was the film Vision Quest. Who's seen Vision Quest? A couple of y'all. Vision Quest is the feel-good story of Loudon Swain, a high school wrestling standout who, though dominant in his own weight class, defies reason and his coach's wishes to drop a weight class in order to wrestle defending champion Brian Shute, widely considered to be the most devastating and dominant wrestler in the entire state, basically the Brock Lesnar of his day. Loudon has to navigate a number of personal challenges in order to achieve his dream, and he experiences nearly the full spectrum of human emotion and conflict through the course of his quest, his vision quest. My favorite scene in the movie involves a personal conversation between Loudon and his mentor and co-worker named Elmo. Elmo was extremely reliable and punctual at work and particularly hard up for money, so it came as quite a surprise to Loudon when he learned that Elmo had taken the night off from work in order to watch Loudon wrestle Shute. Here's a short paraphrase of Loudon and Elmo's conversation, if you'll indulge me. Loudon says, "You never took a night off to see me wrestle before. They'll dock your pay for that." And Elmo says, "Hey kid, money ain't everything." And Loudon replies, "It's not that big a deal, Elmo. I mean, it's 6 lousy minutes on the mat, if that." Elmo says, "You ever hear of Pele?" And Loudon replies, "Yeah, he's a soccer player." And Elmo replies, "A very famous soccer player. I was in the room here one day watching a Spanish channel on TV. I don't know nothing about Pele." I'm editing out all the profanity, by the way. "I'm watching what this guy can do with a ball in his feet. Next thing I know, he jumps in the air and flips into a somersault and kicks the ball in, upside down and backwards. The goalie never knew it hit him. Pele gets excited and he rips his jersey and starts running around the stadium, waving it around his head. Everyone's screaming in Spanish, and I'm here sitting alone in my room, and I start crying. That's right, I start crying. Because another human being, a species that I happen to belong to, could kick a ball and lift himself and the rest of us sad human beings up to a better place to be, if only for a minute. Let me tell you, kid, it was pretty glorious. It ain't the 6 minutes, it's what happens in the 6 minutes." The honorees tonight, both our Hall of Fame inductees and our Vaughn Bell finalists, have spent their lives and their careers lifting us all up. Tonight, then, is not merely a celebration of community, scholarship, and athleticism. In a very real sense, tonight is a celebration of one another, of the sublime privilege it is to be a part of the human race. Each of us shares in the same humanity. We all are part of a species capable of incredible achievements. We need only think of Pele, for instance, who thrilled audiences around the world with the iconic bicycle kick time after time, or of Jackie Joyner-Kersee, who at the 1988 Olympics became the first American woman to win gold medals in both the long jump and the heptathlon, or the great Muhammad Ali, who in 1974 made the rope-a-dope a household term in his monumental defeat of George Foreman, or of Babe Ruth's famous called shot, or of the legendary 1986 match at the Great American Bash between the American Dream Dusty Rhodes and the Nature Boy Ric Flair, or of the now famous sack for a loss of 17 yards on Cam Newton in the final play of the 2018 NFC wildcard game between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers, a sack committed by a young lion from North Georgia by the name of Vaughn Bell. The list goes on and on and on. One not need look very far to see incredible feats of human desire, commitment, and passion. Indeed, they occur within our own community with regularity. From the storied coaching career of Coach Sharon Van Trees to the selfless and stalwart support of Miss Bama Smith and Mr. Arnold Eaves. From the softball state championship teams in the early 90s anchored in the efforts of Cindy Lou Ross to the softball dominance of these latter years anchored in the trio of Katie Carruth, Whitney Bim and Hailey Sandwich. From the basketball prowess of Connie Buchanan, Latrice McLin, and Brian Richardson, to the perfect 17-0 wrestling state championship season of Jacob Mariakis. From the football electricity created by Nick Price, James Turner, and Tyrone Davis, to our own rendition of Thunder and Lightning in the guise of Jalen Shelton and Markeith Butter Montgomery. Isn't life good? Isn't it a thrill and a blessing to be a part of the human race? But there's also something very peculiar about human beings. One of our most interesting distinctives, a feature that truly distinguishes us from all other forms of life, is our propensity to remember and to memorialize. From the most ancient of times, there's been an imperative for people to remember. We read, for instance, in the Old Testament book of Deuteronomy, "Remember the days of old, consider the generations past, ask your father and he will tell you." Tonight we do just that. After 30 amazing years, the time is now upon us to remember the days of old, to consider the generations past, and to memorialize them forever for all who should be privileged to walk the halls of Ridgeland High School in this and every future year. At the risk of being a little melodramatic, it is my privilege to preside over the induction of the inaugural Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame class, to officiate as our 13 honorees become enshrined, to borrow a phrase from the WWE, into our very own showcase of the immortals. Tonight, however, is not just about the past. Tonight's about the present and the future. Alongside the heroes of past years, we celebrate and honor our present student athletes whose hard work, dedication, and commitment to excellence distinguish them from among their peers. Tonight, 2 Ridgeland Panther athletes, 1 male and 1 female, will be recognized from among their peers and from among a pool of incredible, highly deserving classmates and teammates as the most outstanding student athletes of the year. The award they will receive is appropriately enough named after Vaughn Bell. Not only one of the greatest athletes ever to come out of North Georgia, but also one of the most selfless, absolutely finest gentlemen a coach and an educator could hope for. We have since forgiven him for his decision to forego our beloved Southeastern Conference in order to play for The Ohio State University. But we are proud to have his name and his legacy forever attached to our school and to this event. So thank you, Vaughn. Let me say a brief word about the Vaughn Bell Award, the award that recognizes the most outstanding male and female Ridgeland student athletes of the year. Each month, the Ridgeland High School Athletic Department named male and female athletes of the month. This honor was based upon the coach's nomination and was awarded to those student athletes who represent the highest levels of leadership, citizenship, selflessness, and outstanding achievement on and off the field. Each student was awarded a certificate and their names were published on the school's website and social media outlets. Each of these student athletes are, in their own right, highly qualified and deserving of being named a finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award. But from among this pool, 6 finalists were named and will be recognized tonight. At this time, however, I'd like to call off the names of each of the outstanding student athletes who were named Ridgeland High School Athletes of the Month. Markeith Montgomery from football, Courtney Durham from cheerleading, Whitney Dim from softball, Jacob Boyles from cross country, Jalen Shelton from football, Julie Robinson from cheerleading, Hailey Sandwich from softball, Tyler Atchison from riflery, Lucas Lobato from band, Briley Dunn from basketball, De'Erica Irvin from basketball, Chris Prescott from wrestling, Jacob Mariakis from wrestling, Krista Parrish from golf, Jordan Tucker from baseball, and Katie Carruth for soccer. Please give a round of applause for all of the athletes of the month. Throughout this evening, we'll be introducing you to each of our Vaughn Bell finalists. The purpose of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame is to honor and recognize athletes, coaches, administrators, and community members who have made distinctive, noteworthy, and outstanding contributions to the athletic program at Ridgeland High School. This year, for the first time ever, the Ridgeland community was invited to nominate persons as candidates for the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. As stated in the mission, candidates are those of exceptional character who have made distinctive, noteworthy, and outstanding contributions to Ridgeland athletics. Candidates may be inducted into one of 4 categories: former athlete, former coach or administrator, community contributor, or posthumous recognition. Former athletes must have graduated as a Ridgeland Panther and will become eligible for induction 5 years after their graduation. Former coaches or administrators likewise become eligible 5 years after their retirement. Community contributors and those receiving a posthumous recognition are eligible for immediate induction following their nomination. This year, all nominations were reviewed and selections were made by the Hall of Fame Committee. In next and every future year, current members of the Hall of Fame will be invited to join the selection committee in voting on candidates for induction into each subsequent Hall of Fame class. This year, because this is our inaugural class, the 13 candidates being inducted represent a very significant part of the Panther Nation and lore. These inductees represent many of Ridgeland's firsts. They represent some of our first scholarship recipients, our first state champions, our first all-state selections, and on and on. It is appropriate then that these 13 in particular are the first to be enshrined. I'd like to invite the members of the inaugural Ridgeland High School Athletic Hall of Fame to stand and be recognized when I call their name as we give them a warm round of applause. First of all, Mr. Wink Baker and Mr. Pete Summers. The family of Miss Connie Buchanan. Mr. Tyrone Davis. The family of Mr. Arnold Eaves. The family of Miss Latrice McLin. Mr. Nicholas Price. Mr. Brian Richardson. Miss Cindy Lou Ross. The family of Coach Bill Sandberg. Miss Bama Smith. Mr. James Turner. I don't want any problems. And Coach Sharon Van Trees. Our first inductee this evening are Mr. Wink Baker and Mr. Pete Summers of Baker & Summers Construction Incorporated. Mr. Baker is a 1960 graduate of Rossville High School. During his career as a Rossville Bulldog, Mr. Baker was part of the 1959 state championship baseball team and the 1959 state runner-up football team. During that historic 59 season, Mr. Baker was named All-State quarterback. He went on to attend East Tennessee State University, where he earned his MA in school administration. He was an All-American football quarterback in 1962 and 1963, and was the Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year for 1962-63, and was ultimately drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. In conjunction with Mr. Pete Summers, Baker & Summers, Inc. have provided homes or lots for over 900 residences in the Ridgeland High School school zone, have helped in the construction and in the lighting of the Ridgeland High School baseball stadium, helped with acquiring turf for the beautiful Bowers Painter Field, the pride of North Georgia football, provided new lockers for the RHS football field house and dressing rooms, and provided audiovisual instant replay technology for the football team. Mr. Baker and Mr. Summers are living examples of the old adage that it takes a village to raise a child. We are deeply indebted to them for their generosity and their unwavering support for the Panther Nation. On behalf of the selection committee, I am proud for the first time ever to make an official induction into the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame, and I couldn't be more proud of the fact that our first two inductees are Mr. Wink Baker and Mr. Pete Summers. Please give Mr. Baker and Mr. Summers a round of applause. Accepting the induction on behalf of Mr. Baker and Mr. Summers is Mr. Wink Baker, a lifelong Rossville Bulldog and a devoted, lifelong Ridgeland Panther.
Hey, on behalf of Pete Summers and myself, I'd like to say thank you to this community. We're delighted to be able to give back to a community that was so good to us coming up. Thank you very much.
Miss Constance Connie Buchanan was a member of the Ridgeland High School class of 2006. During her illustrious high school tenure, she participated in basketball all 4 years, softball her sophomore year, and volleyball her junior year. She was a member of an Elite 8 7-3A runner-up softball team, and during her senior year, she received the Senior Athletic Award. But it was in basketball that Miss Buchanan really made her mark. She was named NGAC All-Conference Basketball for 2001-2002. During her 4 years as a member of the Lady Panthers basketball team, she was a member of the legendary 2003 State Final Four basketball team. She was named the 2004-2005 GeorgiaSports.com Coaches All-Region Second Team. She was named the 2005-2006 Make-A-Wish Foundation MVP, and she was also named to the 2005-2006 Basketball Dream Team. After graduation, she continued to play basketball, first as a member of the Chattanooga State Community College Lady Tigers basketball team from 2006 to 2008, and then as a Morehead State University Lady Eagle from 2008 to 2010. A truly great Panther, it is my honor to induct Miss Constance Connie Buchanan into the inaugural Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame class. Accepting the induction on behalf of Connie is her brother, DJ Buchanan.
I really didn't have nothing prepared to say today, but on behalf of my family, we'd like to thank everybody who nominated my sister. She was a down-to-earth person who cared about everybody. But we'd like to thank y'all. Go Panthers.
Always played softball, and I've always been like just playing softball every summer as much as I can. And then when I got to high school, it was a bit of a change because like you have to like earn your like spot on the team, and just I don't know, it was just like rough because I didn't get to play as much as I wanted to, and then when I did, I didn't do as good as I wanted to. But then like my senior year, I really stepped it up, and I ended up like starting every game. I did a lot better than I ever thought I would, and I know Coach Wood was really proud of me, and I was really proud of myself.
Whitney this year played an exceptional role on the team, playing first base, hitting the ball well, making defensive play after defensive play, and just showing her leadership ability and the quality person that she is.
Just always looking up to like the Ridgeland Panthers like softball team, like playing and stuff, and coming to watch them, and then now like I am one, and like that's really cool.
Whitney's someone that I always can count on to be cool, calm, and collective. She's one that when the time is right, she also can be explosive.
I love like being out there, even if we don't win, but at the same time, like I do play to win.
She hit her first home run this year and absolutely crushed it. I don't know who it surprised more, us, herself, her parents, anybody, but she nailed it, and I have never been more proud of a kid than I was when she did that.
You just can't give up, and if it's something that you really want to do, you just have to like keep pushing, and like you just test yourself. Like you have to push yourself to your limits.
This time I would like to introduce our first finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, Miss Whitney Lauren Bim.
Thanks, I guess, for, I don't know, it's just really cool to be a part of this and to be a finalist. I didn't really think that it would be like a possibility when they said that I was like in the running or whatever, but it's really cool, so thanks.
Mr. Tyrone Davis was a member of the Ridgeland High School's first graduating class, the illustrious class of 1990. During his high school career, he was a 4-year participant in football and basketball and a 3-year participant in track. As a member of the track team, he was a state qualifier in the 330 intermediate hurdles and the 4x100 relay. He was a 2-time letterman in basketball, a 3-time letterman in track, and a 4-time letterman in football. As a member of the football team, he received Ridgeland High School Most Valuable Player honors, multiple UCTV Player of the Week honors, North Georgia Defensive Player of the Year honors, and multiple All-North Georgia team selections. He is perhaps best known for being Ridgeland's first ever All-State football team selection. Following his highly decorated high school career, Mr. Davis continued to dedicate himself to the sport of football, basketball, and baseball as a volunteer from 2002 to 2015 for the Chattanooga Valley and Rossville Recreation Departments, as well as 2 years of service as the defensive coordinator for Silverdale Baptist Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. Tyrone Davis into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
Just want to thank the committee and everybody here. You know, been a big part of my life here at Ridge, and the community's been good to me. I've been coaching for years. Some of the players that are going to be up here, I've coached them, and they brought me joy. I'll always be a Panther.
Mr. Arnold William Eaves was a member of the Chattanooga Valley High School class of 1941. Mr. Eaves is perhaps best remembered as the voice of the Eagles for Chattanooga Valley, and then from 1957 to 2004, from 1989 to 2004 as the legendary voice of the Panthers. While his children attended Chattanooga Valley High School from 50 to 77, he was an avid parent supporter, serving variously as PTA president, band booster president, on numerous ad hoc committees to further the programs of the school. He joined with other parents and faculty members to erect the first bleachers at the Chattanooga Valley football field and later their replacement with larger seating. His wider community involvement with Walker County education included service on the Walker County School Board, including one term as board chairman. Additionally, he was a strong advocate for vocational training and was instrumental in the development of strong vocational programs in Walker County schools. After his tenure on the school board, and after some initial concerns, he became an earnest supporter of the decision to consolidate Rossville High School and Chattanooga Valley High School, even running for and winning a new term on the school board in order to assure that the proper athletic facilities would be a part of the new Ridgeland High School from day one. His contribution to Walker County education in Ridgeland High School did not end when his children completed their educations at Chattanooga Valley. Without hesitation, he continued to work in the sound booth at Chattanooga Valley and at Ridgeland. His work with the wider education community in Walker County also showed his commitment to students in all phases of the school system beyond the beloved athletic programs. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. Arnold William Eaves into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame. Accepting the induction on behalf of Mr. Eaves is his son, Mr. Arnold Eaves, Jr.
My father was proud of many plaques and awards that he received throughout his career supporting education and athletics in Walker County. But I can assure you that there's nothing that he would be more proud of than this honor that you've given him tonight. Thank you.
To be a Ridgeland Panther is to me it's cool. It's just something, not that I'm expected to do, but that I get to do, and it's a privilege because I get to represent our school.
Jacob has always loved the outdoors, loved to be outside, was always in the middle of everything. But at the same time, very disciplined when he wants something. And that's carried over a lot into athletics.
I guess it's always kind of been my childhood dream was to win state, and so that's kind of what I've been working for since I was probably 6 years old, was to just come to high school and be able to win. And so the past 2 years I've done it. Wrestling's kind of taught me, like, I can't quit. Like, you can't be in the middle of a match and then just decide that you don't want to do it anymore, because then you're kind of going to get beat up. And then it's also like, if you're doing something right, you just keep doing it. And so in the classroom, I think if something's hard, then I just keep going with it, and I try to work and learn and try to ask questions to get better. I go into every match with the mindset that I'm better than the guy. Not like arrogant better, but just like I know my goals, and he's trying to take me the opposite way of my goal, and so I'm just going to have to be better than him to win. So no matter who I wrestle, not even at like national tournaments, I go into the match thinking that I'm going to beat this guy. Getting beat really sucks to me, so it really puts like a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, well, next time I wrestle that guy, I want to win.
He's done everything we hoped he would, and done it with class and with a lot of character. And
wrestling, I'd say I've started to really realize like that I can be pretty good, and that like I just have to put in the work. So it's really just all about how much work I put in is how much I'm going to get out of it.
At this time, I would like to introduce our next finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, the champ, Mr. Jacob Lee Mariakis.
I'd like to thank everybody for this opportunity and just for letting us be here, and God gets all the glory.
Miss Latrice McLin was a member of the Ridgeland High School class of 1994. During her career as a Ridgeland Panther, she participated in varsity basketball and volleyball all 4 years. Among her many high school accolades are the following honors: All Tri-State her sophomore, junior, and senior years, Tri-State Player of the Year her senior year, All-State First Team her senior year, and Second Team All-State her junior year, Terrific 10 Top 10 Female Basketball Players in the State of Georgia senior year, the Scrappy Moore Girls Basketball Player of the Year her senior year, Female Prep Player of the Year Naismith Award her senior year, Northwest Georgia Player of the Year her senior year, Best of Preps Player of the Year her senior year, News Channel 12 Player of the Year her senior year, All North Georgia Player of the Year her senior year, Georgia All-Star Game Starter, Georgia-Tennessee All-Star Game Starter, Volleyball All-State her senior year, and the first student athlete at RHS to have her jersey retired. Following high school, Ms. McLin accepted an offer from Florida State University over the University of Florida, University of Kentucky, Mississippi State, and the University of South Carolina. As a Seminole, she was a 3-year starter on the basketball team, a team co-rookie of the year, a co-captain of her sophomore year, an all-ACC honorable mention selection her sophomore year, and was named to the ACC Academic Honor Roll her senior year. She followed her college career as a college women's basketball coach for 13 years at Appalachian State University, Samford University, and Western Kentucky University. In addition to her athletic accolades, she participated in FBLA while at Ridgeland, was the president of the FCA during her senior year, and was on the yearbook committee her senior year. She finished in the top 10% of her class at RHS with a 3.1 GPA. She went on to be inducted in the Seminole Torchbearers Alumni Organization in 1998 and was the founder and president of Florida State University's Memphis Alumni Club. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Miss Latrice McLin into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame. Accepting the induction on her behalf is her mother, Miss Debbie Johnson.
Thanks, everyone. Latrice is not here tonight because Latrice is at Florida State. They are helping something there. She wanted to be here, but she could not be at two places at one time. I want to thank you guys for everything you've done for her. And I see a lot of I call them my family because the 4 years that we was here, I see you guys now. And thank you, Dana. Thank you. And Ridgeland High School, thank you so much. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, Jania Johnson, nobody knew that that was her sister. So I'm here to tell everybody, a lot of you all know Jania. That's Jania's oldest sister. Yes. And thank you all again.
Mr. Nick Price was a member of the Ridgeland High School class of 1997. During his time at Ridgeland High School, he played varsity basketball his freshman and sophomore years, track his senior year, and varsity football his junior and senior years. Among his athletic accolades as a Ridgeland Panther are the following honors: All-Region Varsity Basketball 94-95, All-Region Football and All-County Football 95-96, a member of the Panthers' very first state playoff team, team leader in receiving yards and total touchdowns, All-Region Football and All-County Football 96 and 97, instrumental in leading the Panthers to back-to-back state playoff appearances, Region 7-3A 100-meter champion with a 10.80 time in 96-97, second place in Region 7-3A 200-meter in 96-97, and he received 20 scholarship offers from NAIA schools all the way to Division I. Following high school, Mr. Price walked on at the University of West Georgia and earned a full scholarship after one semester. While at West Georgia, he would go on to set numerous records, many of which still stand today. His records include most rushing yards per game at 235, which was set in 2000, most rushing yards in a season, 1,409, which was set in 2000, most rushing yards in a career, 3,404 from 1998 to 2001, most rushing attempts in a season at 211, that was in 2000. Most rushing attempts in a career, 582 from 1998 to 2001. Most 100-yard rushing games in a season in 5, and that was in 2001. Most 100-yard rushing games in a career for 14, that was from 1998 to 2001. Most touchdowns rushing in a season at 14, that was in 2001. Most touchdown rushings for a career at 35 from 1998 to 2001. Most touchdowns total in a career at 42 from 1998 to 2001. Most points in a career at 252 from 1998 to 2001. In addition, he was named All-Gulf South Conference first team in 1999, 2000, and 2001. He was an All-American in 2000 and 2001. He was a member of the 1997, 1999, and 2000 Gulf South Conference Championship teams, and he was a 2000 finalist for the coveted Harlan Hill Trophy, the D1 equivalent to the Heisman. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. Nick Price into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
Didn't know I had to do this, but just wanted to say it's such an honor to be here today. I want to thank the committee for voting me in, and two people who followed me around school my junior year, my sophomore year, begging me to play football finally my junior year, Coach Kip Klein and Coach Bill Oliver.
Since I was a little kid, I've done softball since I was 4 years old and soccer since I was like 7. And I've been doing that all my life pretty much. Every summer, every fall ball, spring ball, everything. It's like a huge part of my life.
She's grown a lot because she was nervous, she was scared as a freshman. As a senior, you could see all the confidence, all the self-assurance, and the leadership qualities that I ask them to have.
For me personally, I'm like, give me the bat. I love being in those situations, and I'd really try to like put myself up, because you have to be confident in yourself to be able to really push through things like that. I'm the person that's like, give me the bat, let me get up there and let me do this for the team, because I'm almost positive that I can do it, and you really have to be confident in that.
Katie, she was valuable to us in so many ways. She played the outfield, she could play the infield, she was our little slapper. She was kind of like the spark plug when we were just about to start the lineup all over again, and we needed something to happen. We could count on Katie to do it.
Well, it's also like, I love soccer. Like, it's super fun. I may not be as good at it as I am at softball, but it's super fun just to go out there and like spend time with my friends and to know that like you're surrounded by some of your closest people and to just get out there and have fun with them.
So Katie knows how to win. She knows how to score, and she knows how to have the attitude she needs to have as a leader, even when we come up short.
Back like when I was a freshman and stuff, it wouldn't have really meant so much to me because I played sports and all that, but I just wasn't really like Panther Pride, But especially my junior and senior year, it means so much. Like going to a football game, like sit in the locker room at the softball field and like just know that I'm a Ridgeland Panther.
At this time, I would like to introduce our next finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, Miss Katie Erin Carruth.
This is really awesome to be a part of, and thank you for letting me be a part of it, and thank you to my parents and everyone that supported me throughout the years. Y'all really mean a lot. Thank you.
Mr. Brian Richardson was a member of the Ridgeland High School class of 2000. During his 4 years at Ridgeland, Mr. Richardson was one of the most prolific and highly decorated basketball players in all of North Georgia. His high school accomplishments include the following honors and distinctions: a retired jersey, scored a total of 2,480 points in his 4-year career, scored a career-high 50 points against LFO, scored 49 points against Coosa, scored over 40 points 14 times in high school career, a 4-time All-Chattanooga Free Press team selection, 2-time 7-3A Player of the Year, 2-time Chattanooga Free Press Player of the Year, 2-time All-State selection, led the state of Georgia in scoring his junior year and senior year, the Chattanooga area leading scorer his junior and senior year, Lindy Magazine's top 100 players in the country ranked number 82, Hoop Scoop top 100 players in the country, ESPN Recruiting top 100 players in the country, and the McDonald's All-American Honorable Mention. Ultimately, Mr. Richardson chose the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga over Mercer, Southern Louisiana, Alabama, Villanova, and Duquesne. At UTC, he was on 2 teams that played in the Southern Conference Championship game and led the Southern Conference and Division I in three-point percentage as a junior. Mr. Richardson transferred to the University of West Florida his senior year. In just 1 season, he set the school records for field goal attempts, three-point attempts, and three-pointers made. He finished the year with 511 points, just 2 shy of the school's all-time record, and his 19.7 points per game was second best in the Gulf South Conference and third best in UWF history. At West Florida, he earned all-conference, all-region, and all-American honorable mention honors. After his senior year at West Florida, he participated in workouts with the Atlanta Hawks, Charlotte Bobcats, and Orlando Magic. Later, it was drafted by the ABA, but signed with a team in Macedonia. After touring with the team in the summer, he requested a release and signed with Segal Pristina in the Kosovo Super League in Pristina, Kosovo. Segal Pristina traveled all over Greece, Macedonia, Kosovo, and Serbia, playing league and friendly games. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. Brian Richardson into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. This is great. Haven't been here in a long time. It's great to be back in North Georgia, see all the familiar faces. Thanks to the committee for the nomination. Thanks for my family for traveling, and then my crazy friends from Florida who drove up. This place is great. I mean, it really gave me the foundation to be successful throughout life, and this is great. So, thank you.
Miss Cynthia D. Ross, affectionately known as Cindy Lou Ross, was a member of the Ridgeland High School class of 1995. During her career as a Ridgeland Panther, Miss Ross competed in softball and basketball for all 4 years. As a member of the Lady Panther basketball team, Miss Ross helped lead Ridgeland to back-to-back region championships her junior and senior year. It was as a member of the Lady Panther softball team, however, that Miss Ross truly made her mark, becoming one of the most prolific softball players in Georgia in all of the 1990s. Among her many accolades are the following achievements: All Walker County softball selection from 1991 to 1994. Chattanooga Times Free Press Best of Prep selection for softball from 1991 to 1994. Tri-County Athlete of the Year scholarship. All-State softball selection from 1993 to 1995. A member of the 1993 Softball State Championship runner-up team, a member of the historic 1991 and 1994 Softball State Championship teams. After high school, she played on scholarship for Chattanooga State, ultimately finished second place in the National Junior College Athletic Association National Tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to induct Miss Cindy Lou Ross in the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
Hey, I just want to say thank you, and I really appreciate it. Thank everybody for being here. Thank you.
I mean, I'm happy about it. Vonn, when I was little, I used to, he used to come over here by the house and stuff like that with Gannon and him, and he used to throw football with us and all that. And people used to say that I reminded him of Vaughn Bell, so I took that to the heart and just crafted my game every day.
Butter, like I said, he's never had a bad day. He might be upset because the secondary didn't do well or the offense didn't do well, but he was never down on himself. He was never upset about, he might be upset that, hey, I didn't get this block or I didn't make this tackle.
I look at it like if we win, like I don't really brag about it, but if we lose, you feel me, I go watch film the next morning and like critique of what I did bad or what like the team doing wrong and all that stuff. So just whatever we're doing bad, just correct it. Just know that life is a win-win situation. Either way, you just gotta learn from whatever you do wrong and just do the best you can next time.
He's a consummate leader in every aspect. It doesn't matter if you're the water boy or you're the stud lineman or quarterback or whoever. He treated everybody the same, no questions asked.
Cause like without sports, like I wouldn't be here today. Cause like my family, my whole family, I'll be the first one going to college for her. So I just want to be the outlier. And I mean, it's really important because I got 2 younger brothers. So I want them to follow my footsteps and just be the best they can be and go to college also.
He went out with the same 110% every single time, practice, game, and he took it as a challenge.
8th grade year, middle school, was region champs. And it goes to high school, my freshman year, we weren't too good. And my sophomore year, we weren't too good. And my junior year and senior year, we just took off. So, just go back to being, like, dedicated and just having a love for the game. No matter if you're good or bad, just, just having the heart to do it. So, yeah.
At this time, I would like to introduce our next finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, Mr. Markeith Montgomery.
How everybody doing? I'm just blessed to be here right now. And, I want to thank God, my family, and Panther Nation. Go Owls.
Our next inductee is the legendary Coach Bill Sandberg. Coach Sandberg had a total of 30 years coaching experience in the state of Georgia. During his career, Bill coached several all-state players and several of his teams reached the playoffs. He was the first head football coach at Ridgeland High School. After that, he devoted himself to coaching at the middle school level for the next 11 years before retiring. He had a tremendous love and respect for the kids that he coached and for the game of football. Upon retirement, he was honored with a Georgia High School Association Lifetime Pass, signifying a minimum of 20 years of coaching at the high school level in the state of Georgia. Among his many career accomplishments are serving as football coach at Paulding County, Georgia from 1971 to 75, at Millard County, Georgia from 75 to 77, again at Paulding County from 77 to 80, and at Carrollton Central in Georgia from 80 to 81. Coach Sandberg accepted his first head football coaching position at Chattanooga Valley High School in Flintstone, Georgia, and he remained there from 1981 to 87. He served as head football coach in Monroe, Georgia from 87 to 89. He became the first head football coach of Ridgeland High School history and served from 89 to 90. And he finished his coaching career by returning to Chattanooga Valley Middle School as head coach from 1990 to 2000. It is my distinct pleasure to induct Coach Bill Sandberg into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame. Please give a round of applause to the wife of the late Coach Sandberg, Mrs. Janice Matthew Sandberg, who will be accepting the induction on his behalf.
I'd just like to say thank you to Ridgeland's Hall of Fame on Bill's behalf, and I know this would have made him proud, and he put all his life into the football, so thank you.
When one thinks of the qualities of dedication, devotion, humility, and selfless service, one need not look much further than Mrs. Martha Bama Smith for a prime example. A devoted wife, mother, teacher, and coach, Mrs. Smith's legacy permeates throughout Chattanooga Valley and Ridgeland. Mrs. Smith served as a teacher and coach at Chattanooga Valley High School and Middle School from 1971 until her retirement in 2002. Her tenure as a teacher and coach was briefly, albeit voluntarily, interrupted on 2 occasions so that she could devote time to her children, Jason Smith, Jennifer Heisey, and Mark Smith, each of whom would go on to be involved in multiple sports prior to their graduations in 91, 92, and 1999, respectively. During her 3 decades of active teaching and coaching, she coached cheerleading, golf, basketball, tennis, and was the wrestling scorekeeper. She started the first volleyball program at Chattanooga Valley, as well as in 1981, the very first softball program at Chattanooga Valley High School, ultimately leading her softball team to 5 region championships and the state championship in 1988. The husband and wife team of Coach Jay Smith and Coach Bama Smith is one of the great coaching-teaching power couples in Walker County history. You will certainly recall that Coach Jay Smith served Ridgeland as baseball coach, JV basketball coach, and athletic director. His legacy is still visible. Our baseball stadium is named in honor of Coach Jay Smith and his family. From the monumental to the mundane, Miss Bama Smith supported Ridgeland with tireless devotion, serving for years as the statistician for the boys' basketball team, scorekeeper for the baseball team, and concession stand operator. The baseball team even relied on her to keep the boys' uniforms looking nice and clean. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a true honor to induct into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame a truly great Panther, Miss Martha Bama Smith.
just want to thank my family. All three of my children are here. One of my grandchildren are here. My sister and brother-in-law drove all the way from Alabama to be here, and I appreciate that very much. This is such a great honor for me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I know when I get up to bat that if we're down 2-0 and I'm up to bat, I need to get this clutch hit. Like, just to know that you can, like, all this time that if you're gonna be a leader, and just to know that you can do this, just having that mindset that you're the one that needs to be. There's nobody better than you that needs to be in this batter's box.
We were at Pickens County, and she made a bonehead play. Coach Wood was all over Hailey, all over her for her bonehead play. Got her mad. She hit a home run to win the game for us.
I just love softball. At first, I hated it, and Coach Wood has had a big part of change me as a student on my outlook. It's just, he doesn't give up on you, so like he knows school comes first, and so if you don't get right in the school, then softball should be the last thing you should talk about. And he always pushed me, even in his class, he would always push me to academically do better.
And for the last 4 years, she has played tremendous ball, has made All-State the last 2 years, led the team in hitting 3 out of her 4 seasons, and has played a crucial part, just being a person for all the players to look up to and rally behind.
You're the one that they're looking at. You're the one they're looking up to, even though when I wasn't a senior, but now that I am, he was really putting that into me, like knowing that I gotta go out with a bang, knowing that this is my last year, and just showing everybody what I'm made of. And it's just been a great ride from my freshman year up to my senior year.
At this time, I would like to introduce our next finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, Miss Hailey Sandwich.
Thanks for supporting me, my family, my friends, my youth pastor, and my coaches, and my classmate, and this is just amazing, and congratulations 2018.
Mr. James Turner, affectionately known as JT, was a member of the illustrious first graduating class of Ridgeland High School, the class of 1990. During his high school career, Mr. Turner played baseball and basketball for all 4 years, but he is best known for being one of the most electrifying tailbacks and free safeties in Ridgeland High School history. Among his various accolades are the following honors and distinctions: Freshman of the Year honors, 4-time KZ 106 Player of the Year honors, beginning his freshman campaign when he led North Georgia in rushing with over 1,000 yards, 8-time Player of the Week honors, 4-time All-State selection, 4-time Most Athletic distinction, 4-time All-Region selection, North Georgia MVP selection his sophomore, junior, and senior years, and multiple scholarship offers. Following his years as a competitive athlete, Mr. Turner dedicated 17 years to coaching and teaching young children, including his own daughter, what it takes to be a great athlete, whether in softball or basketball. His legacy continues in the many who are succeeding and reaching their goals of prospering in collegiate sports now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. James J.T. Turner into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
Don't let somebody that don't go to Ridgeland tell you what Ridgeland is. Let like someone who has walked the halls tell you what it is. I mean, it's greatness. It's my school. People look at Ridgeland different, and I like standing out sometimes, so it just puts a chip on your back, makes you want to do everything better.
Jalen Shelton is one of the team leaders that he just, everything you ask him to do, he would do. He was a leader in the weight room. He's probably the strongest kid on the team. He came with a good work ethic for the weight room and the field and the classroom.
A lot of people just want success but ain't willing to work for it. So I guess over my high school career I was willing to work for it. Got me where we was today.
You know, Jalen was part of the team. He was a guy people looked up to because of his strength, because of his work ethic. They really gravitated to him, and it helps make the coach's job a lot easier.
Once everybody else sees that y'all are doing that, committing to go like everything 100%, then get the whole team doing that, then everything go great. Cause I look at it like with sports, like the more work you put in and stuff, the more you'll get out of it. So if you look at like academics like that, the more you put in, the better you'll get out of it. Really, I mean, I know sports and stuff, that's how I got into college, but academics, that's more important because football ain't always going to be there. So you always got to have a good foundation built. When it doesn't work, you'll be successful without it.
When it came his time to do the part of the game that was his power game, to be able to run between the tackles and to get the yardage that we needed, that he was a patient guy. He knew what he had to do.
Because I'm going to do my best to stay on top. And then on the field, do my best to stay the best.
This time I would like to introduce to you our last finalist for the Vaughn Bell Award, Mr. Jalen Emery Shelton.
So like, if your birthday's on an odd, I need everybody to stand up, please. Right now. Like, if your birthday's on an odd date, like, put your hands like this. And if it's on even, put them together. Thank you for standing ovation. I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported on Friday nights and at home. Friends, everybody, teachers. I just want to say thank y'all and go Panthers.
All right, if your birthdays are odd. Not only is Coach Sharon Van Trees arguably one of the greatest coaches in Walker County in Ridgeland history, she might just be the greatest Ridgeland coach of all time, and honestly, I've yet to hear the argument against it. As an appropriate prelude to her Ridgeland High School coaching career, she was the head basketball coach for the Rossville High School Bulldogs from 1983 to 1989. During that time, she accumulated over 100 wins, a region championship in 1985, and a state championship in 1986. In 1989, she was named the Ridgeland High School head basketball coach and assistant softball coach. As the Lady Panther assistant softball coach from 1989 to 1993, she coached the great string of teams that won region championships in 89, 90, and 91, and state championships in 89 and 91. In 1993, she was named head softball coach, and she led her team to the 93 region championship and was the 93 state championship runner-up. Her accomplishments as a softball coach would have been more than enough to cement her legacy as one of the greats and to guarantee her enshrinement in the Hall of Fame. Nevertheless, it is as a Lady Panther basketball coach that the name of Sharon Van Trees became synonymous with greatness. During her tenure as head coach from 1989 to 2000, she accumulated over 200 wins for a career total of over 300. She led her team to sub-region championships in 1990 and 1992, a region runner-up distinction in 1990, region championships in 1992, 1994, 1995, and 1996, including the two legendary undefeated seasons of 1992 and 1995, and in 1994, she led her team all the way to the state Final Four. Coach Van Trees is a 5-time Region 7 Coach of the Year, was named the Georgia Coach of the Year in 1986, a 4-time North Georgia Tip-Off Coach of the Year, a 4-time Chattanooga Times Free Press Coach of the Year, the 1992 Scrappy Moore Award recipient, and a former Athletic Director of the Year. Coach Van Trees' career has come full circle. She is once again a Rossville Bulldog, serving as head basketball coach for the Lady Bulldogs of Rossville Middle School. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Coach Sharon Van Trees into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame.
I want to make sure you all can hear me because I've been waiting for this for a long time. Taking it back. You know, Dana, I can truly tell that's your son. The Jenkins family and I go back a long way. Long, long way. You know, I know my players are probably thinking, oh, boy, and Teresa's going to get on a roll and we'll be here all night. And I truly could talk for hours about coaching basketball in the Rossville community. It was my life and my passion. And I truly put everything I had into it. You know, my son and I were talking one night on the way back from school, and he said, Nene, I want to do something special with my life. I want people to remember my name. I want people to remember what good things I did. And you know that it made me think that I don't know how many times over the years I've heard Van Trees. Van Trees! I've heard it in Dewberry, Chickamauga. I had, back in the day, you could haul your players in the back end of a truck. And I hauled them all over this town, just about. But I never was a great athlete, but I wanted to be. I always dreamed of being the best. I never got there. So years ago, Coach Stumpy Sarator, some of you know him, he told me that he told Ryland Donald, say, hire the fat girl. Because Stumpy was pretty good size himself. So the fat girl got the job, and one thing I learned real quick, I didn't like to lose. I had this burning. I don't know how to describe it to you, but I just knew somewhere within me there was greatness. And I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that because that's the way I felt. I truly thought I had a calling, and it was coaching. Some of my players would say my technique was aggravating at the best sometimes. But you know what? I don't know how many times in the last 10 years when I wasn't around here that I've heard my name called. Coach Van Trees, I loved your PE class. I loved to go bowling. Yeah, and they, you know, and I'd go places and they'll say, I heard your voice, and I knew that was you. In fact, somebody said that to me tonight. I think it was Dana, as a matter of fact. But I truly didn't start out to do that, but I think that I have left a mark in Rossville High School. Not Rossville High School, Rossville. But my players can tell you, they're sitting in here tonight, I had a way of trying to get the best out of them. Sometimes they didn't like it, they didn't want to hear it, but we kept working. And this year, my life has come full circle as far as coaching and being back at the middle school. And it's quite an eye-opener. It felt like somebody was racking my brain a little bit, trying to get everything going. But my days here at Ridgeland High School and in this community in general have been the most amazing times of my life. Other than my family and my kids, my heart and my soul has been here. Many of you in this room tonight, your kids have played for me. These kids are not kids anymore. These girls in here that played for me, you know, they can tell you that we had a way here at Ridgeland. When Chattanooga Valley and Rossville got put together, we had the best of everything. Good players. I couldn't run them off. I tried sometimes. But I don't know, it was just magic here. A lot of good kids, good parents. You know, I've had parents tell me, I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't going to ask you what was wrong. They just let me take them, teach them, work with them, and do what I needed to do. And I thank Dr. Swafford for giving me that chance. I thank Karen and Kip and everybody involved in this tonight, because you don't know how much it means to me. Because I love this school. And I loved everything about it. So I thank you tonight for remembering me. I'll never forget it. Thank you for remembering my name.
We are now at that point in the evening when, having been introduced to our 6 worthy finalists, we will name the recipients of the inaugural Vaughn Bell Award. I cannot express how proud we are of each of the athletes of the month, our Vaughn Bell finalists, and now our Vaughn Bell Award winners, for all of your hard work, determination, dedication, and citizenship. We're so thankful to you for making Ridgeland High School a better place. To present the Vaughn Bell Award, it is my honor to introduce to you number 7 for the Ridgeland Panthers and number 48 for the New Orleans Saints, Mr. Vaughn Christian Bell.
Man, it's good to be back home. Man, it's a real moment. I'm still soaking it in, but let me get to it. Let's thank and congratulate the Hall of Fame committee for outstanding accomplishments to celebrate this evening. I'm truly honored and blessed to be here with you all tonight. Back where it all started, it's almost surreal for me. I believe that was 5 years ago I walked these halls. First and foremost, I want to give the glory to God for his never-ending faith and grace. Without him, I wouldn't be standing in front of you all tonight. It was a privilege to be here with my family, friends, and Ridgeland faculty and staff, and all the Hall of Fame inductees. It's also even been more humbling for me to be given this Vaughn Bell Award to these extraordinary athletes. I can't even begin to describe what this moment means for me and to share it with you all tonight. I will never forget it. I cannot stand up here and not thank my coaches and their families. You all taught me the importance of leadership, discipline, and determination. You helped me become a better leader and a mentor to younger athletes, to Coach Klein, to Coach Mariakis, to Coach Parrott, to Coach Pritchett, to Coach Cassell, Coach Edwards, to Coach Patterson, to Coach Oliver, to Coach Stoker, Coach King, Coach Pipes, Coach Howard, and Coach Garrison, even Travis, the manager, and Cody, and Coach Hawthorne, and Miss Elizabeth. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the athlete I am without your guidance today. To my teachers and counselors who kept my head on straight off the field, you made sure I would never forget that school came first, and my mama too. There's a reason why it's called a student athlete. Thank you for pushing me to find my potential off the field. To all the faculty and staff at Ridgeland, the cafeteria ladies who kept me full, to the front office, to Officer Stoker, walking me through the halls, I appreciate you. To my family and friends who consistently supported me through my journey, for keeping me humble and reminding me to keep God first. Thank you for exposing me to the world and allowing me to choose my path, for showing up to every game no matter what the outcome is and always having a positive word. Thank you for your endless support and love. There is no one without you. There is no me without you. And lastly, but certainly not least, to the recipients of tonight's awards, I remember being where you are, trying to find my way, working a day in and day out to perfect my craft. This road isn't easy, but I promise you the work hard enough and it's absolutely worth it. So always remember, never stop believing in yourself and stay true to yourself and who you are. Continue to work and to strive for success in all you do. Never give up and you will make it to the top one day. I thank you all.
And now the Vaughn Bell Trophy for Most Outstanding Female Athlete for 27-18 is hereby awarded to Miss Hailey Sandwich. The Vaughn Bell Trophy for Most Outstanding Male Athlete for 2017-18 is hereby awarded to Mr. Markeith Butter Montgomery. Sure, we all agree this has been a tremendous evening. Before we end the night, however, I'd like to invite Deputy Bruce Coker and Coach Kip Klein to the podium to make a very special presentation.
Hey, Vonn, don't go nowhere. Everybody that knows Vaughn Bell has just seen the true Vaughn Bell. The caring, compassion for his everyday person. I was asked to give a few stories, and I'm going to, but I'm also going to give him something right here. There's only 8 of these in the world. And I have one for his mother and him both. So here we go. Vonn and I have a unique and an interesting friendship. Not only coach and friendship, but just friendship in general. We always seem to be at the same place at the same time, and nobody's around at all. Think back to Adairsville, your junior year. I walked out the field with you and you said, that's the fastest game I've ever been in my life. You had just come from Chattanooga Central. He said, North Georgia football ain't no joke. I said, yeah, you're right. He said, I didn't play very well. A little bit of stats on the game. He had a pick 6, 2 touchdowns, 2 fumble recoveries, and 14 tackles in that game. He didn't play very well. Well, to tell you, and you can watch his face, we went on Sunday night, and we met as a coaching staff, and I think it was Coach Cassell graded you at a 42. You remember that? Well, he had to go in and meet with the team, and we're sitting down there, and they said, Vaughn Bell, you scored a 42. And he had the most unbelievable look on his face I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't believe that I came down here to be graded like that. But he also told me, he said, I'll never do it again. He never graded below a 90 the rest of the time he was here. But that Sunday, the coaching staff all said in unison, and I'm going to name my book this when I write one, we just got to admit it, Vaughn Bell's not as good as we thought he was. Boy, was I wrong. So we go to 2012. We go to the Georgia Dome. I'm one of only a few people in the world that know this besides him and the people I've told. Urban Meyer used his home visit, and I knew good and well he was going to go to Ohio State when Everett Withers sat there for 3 hours at a banquet to listen to every single accolade that every single kid at every single place had gotten from Ridgeland High School, from 9th grader all the way to senior. But he sat there with 2 other coaches from Ohio State. But Urban Meyer came in the locker room, and Urban was standing on one side of Vonn, and I had the fortune of standing on the other, and Coach Mariakis was there. And Urban Meyer looked at Vonn, he says, we win the national championship. You come to Ohio State, we win the national championship. I pick up the trophy and I show it to the Buckeye faithful. I turn on the podium and I hand it to you. What did you say? No, I think you went. You kissed it. The only problem we didn't realize was Vonn and I didn't know how to get out of the Georgia Dome. We didn't know how to get to the buses. We didn't know anything whatsoever. So, here we go. We're walking out, and I think that was about the time I said, we're lost. He said, well, we're together. We've ended up being together through all this, through the 4 years, the 2 years he was here, the time he's been here. 2 short years after that, I'm standing in Orlando, Florida, in the corner of the Under Armour game that same year. And, you know, being a coach, you don't get in awe of a whole lot, but all of a sudden, here comes Herm Edwards walking towards me. And I'm thinking, why is Herm Edwards walking towards me? Is my fly? Is my zipper down? What's wrong here? And he walks over and he says, you coach at Ridgeland, don't you? I said, yes, sir. He said, you coach Vaughn Bell? I said, yes, sir. He said, he is the #1 consummate professional at this game, bar none of any high school kid. He said, we have agreed as a coaching staff in no less than 2 years he'll be in the pros. I never told you that because I didn't want your head to get big. This gentleman right here is the consummate professional in everything he does. And it's a testament to mom and dad because I've watched them with him. They've taught him the Bible, they've taught him the Word of God. I'd be ushering at First Presbyterian Church and he'd pull up next to me and he'd scream out. And you know, a bunch of Presbyterians, they don't want to get loud now. He'd scream and say, hey, Coach Klein, downtown. So, I just wanted to fill a few stories. Now, Officer Coker's going to finish the rest.
Relax, Vonn. I'm not in uniform.
Hey, you said you are, that's right.
Well, yeah. It's kind of tight. While we were setting up for this event yesterday, I got to looking around, making sure everything was in place and everything was like it needed to be. I looked up here at the podium and I just had a deja vu kind of moment come over me. It reminded me of the last time I saw Vaughn Bell speak from this podium. In a room full of reporters, ESPN, all the local media, I think you were there, everybody was there. They were streaming this thing live. He was all over the world, man. I mean, this was a big event. And we had an auditorium right over here just packed with volunteer fans. I mean, it was one of those sights to behold. Whenever he declared his commitment to the Ohio State Buckeyes, I just had one of those smiling moments because I'm a Bulldog fan, and I tried to get him to go to Georgia, and I ain't having none of that. But just to see the look on all those volunteers' faces whenever he committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes was just something to behold. But that was my moment with him, and whenever I first came to this school, Vonn was one of the first ones. I didn't know anybody. I've been here for 7 years now. And he was one of the first ones that I came in contact with. Everybody was after him. He would come to me and say, "Hey, Nick Saban coming up here tomorrow." I said, "You lying?" He said, "No, man, he coming. I said, "Ah, you lying." And sure enough, here he comes, walking in the door. And so me and Vonn had that kind of relationship. And there again, his character was something that was, with handling all that fanfare, people in here all the time wanting to interview him, and the Under Armour people here. It was just something to watch him handle all that with all that character. And he has his mom and his dad to thank for that. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Vincent, for being the kind of parents that you are. Now, Vaughn Christian Bell was a member of Ridgeland High School class of 2013, heavily involved in the life of his community and school. Mr. Bell is a member of the Olivet Baptist Church, where he was active in Sunday school, male mentoring, and the usher ministry. He was an active member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and a 2-year volunteer for the Special Olympics. Mr. Bell led mentoring sessions for elementary and middle school classes, and he organized a summer mini camp for the youth of Rossville. Mr. Bell was a standout athlete in basketball during his freshman, sophomore, and junior years, in track and field during his junior year, but it was his amazing years as a football player that solidified the return of Ridgeland to its football dominance. During his junior year, he earned the following honors and distinctions: Best of Preps Defensive Player of the Year, two-way starter with 178 tackles on defense, 119 of them solo tackles, along with 5 picks, 3 forced fumbles, and 5 recovered fumbles, 3 of which were returned for touchdowns. On offense, he collected 31 receptions for 487 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was the Red Edder, I knew I was going to mess that up, EB Red Edder Award winner as the area's top football player of 2012. During his senior year, he was named the Best of Preps Best Male Athlete of 2013, and he won his 2nd consecutive EB Red Edder Award as the area's top football player. For his accomplishments, he was rated by Rivals.com, Scout.com, 247 Sports as a 5-star recruit and the #2 safety in the country. He was rated as high as 4 stars by ESPN, who also rated him the 50th best overall player in the nation, regardless of position. In 2013, Mr. Bell was invited to participate in the Elite Under Armour All-American game. Mr. Bell went on to play safety at the Ohio State Buckeyes in what many might consider a rather lackluster career. As a Buckeye, Mr. Bell received the following distinctions: a member of the 2013 Big Ten Legends Division Championship team, a member of the 2014 and 2015 Big Ten East Division Championship teams, and the big one, a member of the 2014 Big Ten Championship Sugar Bowl Championship and the College Football Playoff National Championship team. A member of, boy, it was nice watching you intercept Taj Boyd at the end zone. Man, that was something to behold. A member of the 2015 Fiesta Bowl Championship team, 2015 First All-American Big Ten selection, 2015 First Team All-American selection. In 2016, Mr. Bell was named the Greater Chattanooga Sports Hall of Fame's Athlete of the Year. Following his All-American selection during his junior year, Mr. Bell was taken with the 61st overall pick by the New Orleans Saints, and the rest, as they say, is history. I am now enjoying watching this young man play on Sundays, and it's such a joy to see this. I'll even turn off my beloved Falcons whenever he's on the tube. But ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, Coach Klein, Dr. Stinson, and the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame Committee, it is my distinct pleasure to induct Mr. Vaughn Christian Bell into the inaugural class of the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame. Once again, please give a warm round of applause for the great Vaughn Bell.
All these people lined up to take pictures of me over here. Let's see what Coker did with the rest of my pages. All right. Before we end this evening's festivities, let me direct your attention to the envelopes at your table. We're appreciative of all the families and community sponsors who generously purchased tickets for tonight's event. As you're probably aware, the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame Committee, which organizes the National Women in Sports Day event, the Athlete of the Month program, the Vaughn Bell Award, as well as the Ridgeland High School Athletic Hall of Fame, is 100% dependent upon your generosity and patronage. 100% of what you donate goes specifically to the Ridgeland High School Hall of Fame Committee for the purpose of continuing these awesome events and making them better and better each year. Please consider making a one-time or a recurring donation to the cause. If you choose to do so, you may return your envelope to one of the committee members this evening or to Miss Angie Mariakis. In addition, Hall of Fame nomination forms are available at the welcome table with Miss Mariakis. If there is someone you feel is worthy of being enshrined in the future classes of the Hall of Fame, please complete a nomination form and submit it to the Hall of Fame Committee. Your nominations will remain active for 3 years and may be resubmitted every 3 years. Thank you so much in advance for all that you continue to do to support the Panther Nation. On behalf of Mr. Raines, the Walker County Board of Education, Ms. Hughes, Mr. Vaughn Bell, and the Selection Committee, we would like to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Please have a safe drive home. Thank you.